welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. Today is Saturday, March 1st. It's a beautiful day. It's 56 degrees here in Connecticut, which means spring is around the corner. So what I'm doing is looking for healthier food options. And a friend of mine, her name is Teresa, we've been friends since kindergarten, had made something. She was a little disappointed with how it turned out. So what I'm going to do is make what she was making is crispy cottage cheese chips. I've never made them before. I'm going to make two separate ones, two different kinds. Give it a try and see how they turn out. And I'm going to show you how I put them all together. In this recipe, I'm working with full fat cottage cheese. Now, we all know that cottage cheese retains a lot of moisture. And to make these crisps, I believe it's important to get rid of as much moisture as possible. So you will notice how I have this draining. This has been draining probably for about an hour or more. And you see on the bottom there, look at all of that whey that comes right out of there. Okay, so what I want to do is, now that I got that pretty well cleaned up, is in my bowl, I'm going to put, we'll set this one aside, the cottage cheese. And I'm going to work with this carefully because I don't want to extract too much more water because I don't want it to be watery. Now, this recipe of hers calls for a half a cup of shredded cheese, any cheese of your choice. I'm using 6 Italian here. So there's a blend of 6 different cheeses. So I'm going to put that right inside here. And then it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And also paprika or paprika, however you want to pronounce it. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. Let me go back over the ingredients. It was a 1/2 teaspoon of the onion powder, garlic powder. It's now a 1/4 teaspoon on the paprika. Okay. And a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. So what now I will do is mix these together until the ingredients are well incorporated. Again, just being careful not to smash down the cottage cheese. Okay, now the next thing I will do is I'm going to get my pan, I'll be right back, which is lined with parchment paper. It's very important that you use parchment paper or a silicone pen, whatever you have. And I will drizzle some olive oil on the pan like that. And I'm using the California olive oil, extra virgin. Spread it across evenly here. And now I'm going to take my small cookie scoop, take out some of the cottage cheese mixture, and I'm going to put them, probably a couple, on a baking sheet because these are going to spread and we want to make sure they have room to spread. Just like that. Now, what you want to do is take the back of your scoop or spoon, whatever it is that you're using, and flatten them out. So they're like little chips. And you want to make sure it's even as you can. So what I'm going to do, I don't like the way they look right now. I'm going to go get a teaspoon. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've taken the back of my teaspoon and I flattened out these little chips. They're nice and thin and they're all together in a circle. Now, what I will do is I will make another type of cheese crisp. Based upon Teresa's recipe, I'm going to make more of a Mediterranean style version. So again, with the cottage cheese, now I am using a low fat cottage cheese. So this has just 2% skim milk, whereas the full fat has 4% milk in it. Okay, so again, I'm going to scrape off all the way like that. And as you can see, quite a bit has dripped out of the cottage cheese in the fine mesh strainer. So I will now take another bowl. Okay. Now, again, what I'm going to do, where did it go? Oh, here it is. I'm going to take another, this is a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of onion powder. This is where you're going to get all your flavor. And I'm going to take a teaspoon, so I'm going to take 2 of these, of oregano. You could use oregano, you can use Italian seasoning, you could use thyme, you could use whatever you want. So in addition to what I'm adding is I have fresh spinach. It was baby spinach that I put through the small food processor, along with, these are sun-dried tomatoes that were soaked in oil, and I also pulsed them together in the processor. So I'm going to give this a try. I hope this works out because I'm pretty excited about doing this. So I'm going to put all of this in here. I don't know if it's too much, but that's okay. We'll find out. I know it'll taste good, and that's the bottom line. In here, I have a half a cup of Parmesan Reggiano cheese. And this one is really good too. This is grated. Okay, so just like the other, I'm going to mix these together carefully so everything is completely incorporated. And again, with my scoop, I'm going to scoop out a small portion, just like that. Ooh, look at the colors. That looks really pretty. One here, here, and one more. I don't want to overcrowd. I don't know how much these will spread. I'm going to find out. So now with the back of my spoon, again, just flatten these out into small and thin discs. You may have to play with it a little. As you can see, it's kind of coming apart for me, but I'm just going to keep working with it carefully until it forms the disc shape that I'm looking for. I'm going to put them in my preheated 350-degree oven. Now, time depends. All right, I've been reading times anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes or 20 to 25 minutes. It all depends on your recipe. What you want to look for is the edges turn brown, or they get that golden brown crisp. And then at that point, you could remove them from the oven. But I'll show you what they look like. So now while the cottage cheese crisps are in the oven, I just want to take a minute, first of all, to thank everyone out there who's been watching and commenting on my videos. You always say the nicest things, and it helps to keep me going, because there are times you get a little discouraged, but your comments really make me feel blessed. There's one in particular I'd like to read to you. This comment really touched my heart. This is from E.T. Hello, Linda B. Teaching is an art like cooking. Your vid is excellent. I'm a professional licensed teacher who has given the university courses to final year teachers. Some people can cook and some people can teach. You do both. Oh my God, I almost started crying. That means so much to me. And I thank this person, and they said I deserve it, and they will be making my cabbage soup. These are the sort of comments that help us YouTubers forge ahead and want to really bring you some great recipes and ideas. So again, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your loyalty and staying with me. It means the world to me. Okay, here they are out of the oven. Now these are going for 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them sit in the pan and I'm going to let them cool, but I'm going to let them finish the carryover cooking. I'm going to use a thin spatula, and I could tell they're not ready yet. I really have to let them sit and cool completely before I try to pull them up. And once I do, I'll show you what they look like. So here they are, cottage cheese crisps, 2 ways. They look really good. And I did let them go in the oven for about 20 minutes, but I did have to finish them off in the air fryer for a little bit. I didn't want to let them go too long because I didn't want them to burn, but I wanted to extract as much moisture out of them as possible. So now I'm going in for a taste test. So this is the Mediterranean one I did. Mm. Mm. The tomato really adds great flavor to this one. There's a little bit of a crisp. Now for Teresa's. I'm hearing a crisp in that too. This one's good because of the cheese. They're good. Remember, if you make these, finish them off for a little bit in the air fryer, then let them cool completely. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make these really delicious cottage cheese crisps 2 ways. And remember, everyone, enjoy life and never stop learning. Bye now.